All right, let me call our meeting to order. Ms. Gore, we will start in just a moment with roll call, but first, we have special guests with us today, dear friends of mine and dear friends of ACS as well. We're glad to have some people from Shepherd's Haven here today to sing for us, but I'm going to turn this over to Donnie Mayo. And Donnie, to share some things with the people that are here and the board about Shepherd's Haven and the people you brought with you.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Scott.
Yeah.
No one that knows me would ever think I would be at a Board of Education meeting other than for a negative reason. It's kind of neat. But my name's Donnie Mayo. I'm the Executive Director of Shepherd's Haven, and we serve adults that have special needs. These are most of our residents. Guys, give everyone a big wave. We operate some residential homes maybe 5 minutes from here where our guys live, and we have couples on our staff back there that actually live with our residents to offer care, and then we also operate a day program. But for the last 5 years, around the holidays, we've gone around to different businesses and organizations, and our guys have tried to spread a little Christmas cheer. All right, and so that's what we're here for. And our guys, when they spread Christmas cheer, they want to do it through some songs. They're gonna sing some here in just a minute. But they also always love telling jokes. Now, for me, that's always a little bit of a tension point because I'm pretty critical of folks telling jokes. If they're not funny, I think you have to point that out. And so we're going to do that with our guys. They can't think they're funny and then go around telling people bad jokes. So who here has got jokes that they can share? I'm going to come down here. Tell everybody your name real quick, bud.
Carl Cochran.
This is Carl. So, Carl, let's hear your Christmas joke, buddy.
How does a gingerbread man get around with a broken leg?
How does a gingerbread man get around with a broken leg? How?
He uses a candy cane.
Oh, all right, yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, it's pretty good. Good start.
All right,
good start.
Passing. It's a passing grade. All right. This is Michael. Michael, what do you have?
What do you call an elf wearing earmuffs?
What do you call an elf wearing earmuffs? What?
Anything you want. He can't hear you.
Little groaner. All right. All right, and this is Tommy Vaughn. Tommy, let's hear yours, buddy.
Okay. What do you call an old snowman?
What do you call an old snowman? What?
Water.
One morning, this girl was minding her own business when suddenly a great angel appeared. He said, "Mary, you are going to have a baby, a little boy. You will call him Jesus. He is God's own son. He is the one. He is the Savior." Sure enough, it was just as the angel had said. Mary and Joseph had to take a trip to Bethlehem, but they found every room full and Mary was ready to have her baby. So they stayed where the cows, donkeys, and horses stayed. And there in the stable, God gave the world his wonderful gift. The baby that would change the world was born, wrapped in swaddling clothes, laid in a manger, and named Jesus.
Yes.
Well done, guys. Well, hey, so like I said earlier, we want to come by and help spread a little bit of Christmas cheer. But also a big part of what we want to do when we're coming by different places is to say thank you just for being so kind to Shepherd's Haven throughout this past year. Whether it's, I recognize people in the room, or if it's the elected folks up here or staff, the Arlington and the school system are so good to us. They really are, and we are grateful. So just the idea that y'all would let us come, all right, in front of this group and be able to share, that means the world to our guys, to their families. I promise you, probably before the night is up, someone will have called home and to say that they got to sing in front of this group, and that means a lot to families. You know, it really does. So thank you. Now, inside of here, Rebecca, I'm going to pick on you for a minute. Hold this, please. Hey, inside of here, Rebecca, hey, did my boys and I, did we make these at home?
No, sir, not really.
Not really.
But I picked up with them at them ourselves.
They made them themselves at our day center. They made them by hand. And so there's enough here, I'm pretty sure, for everybody in the room. I'm going to leave that to Dr. Clark, okay? I'm going to leave that. We'll leave it here, and then y'all fight through them, okay? Hey, there's also some information in there that you'll see. I'll just set it here. There's a couple in town named Bob and Jean Wilson. They match all gifts made to Shepherd's Haven while we're out and about caroling. There's information on that, but it looks like y'all are now in charge. That's a lot of power. So you go through there and pick out. But if you look on the back of them, most of them are going to have someone's name. That's going to let you know who made that item. We'd love for you to hang it on your tree and think about Shepherd's Haven sometime. But hey, we appreciate it. Guys, do y'all have one last? Yes, sir! Stan is primed and ready. All right, guys, go.
We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Everybody!
Donnie, that was awesome. Thank you for coming. Thanks for bringing. Hey, thank you guys, men and women. Thanks for coming. So glad y'all were here. They came and sang to us yesterday at our central office Christmas party, which was fun. They had come early, or they came last week and sang at my church's staff meeting, which was good. And so I've got to see these men and women a lot this Christmas, which was a joy to get to see y'all. I highly recommend you get some of those ornaments. They're very cool. Why don't you pass those around while we're doing these? Grab one, take it with you. They're really cool that they made them this year. We will call, Ms. Gore, will you call the roll for us?
Present.
Dr. Bioff?
Present.
Mr. Benjamin?
Present.
Mr. Dunn?
Present.
Ms. Barnes? Present.
All right, thank you. We stand with me, and we will say the Pledge of Allegiance, and then remain standing for a moment of silence. Miss Hawkins, will you step in the room and lead us in our Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. If you'll remain standing for just a moment. Thank you. You may be seated. All right, so we have some special recognitions tonight. I'm going to turn that over to Dr. Clark and let you lead that, Dr. Clark.
Thank you. First, we have our first recognition is for an employee, Miss Ann Douglas. If you'll come up here to the front, please. So Miss Ann Douglas is retiring from Arlington Community Schools after 26 and a half years of serving students. And she has been a special ed assistant at Arlington Elementary School during that time, and she's very dedicated. You know, she does not believe in any downtime. She is always finding something to do, and all that work is to support teachers and most important, our students as well. One of her colleagues wanted us to share something tonight about Miss Douglas. Mrs. Douglas was such an invaluable presence in my preschool classroom last year. She brought warmth and compassion to every interaction, but also knew when to be firm to create a balanced environment for growth and learning. As a true team player, she consistently encouraged both the children and adults, lifting spirits and motivating us all during long and challenging days. I will always picture her with a banana to her ear, placing orders at the pretend bakery while the kids circle around her and giggle. I have truly missed getting to work closely with her this year, but I know we will be friends for life. So we truly, truly appreciate the years that you have given to our district, supporting our teachers and our students. And we have something here that we want you to have, and that is to show your recognition and appreciation from the district. And here's something here for you. And Mr. Hill, I know, would like to take a picture. And Ms. Walker, would you like to come up as our Executive Director of HR?
Would you like me to do something with those balloons? Sometimes I need to put a stop on this. That's true.
Board members, would you like to say anything to Ms. Douglas?
Sure, Ms. Douglas, just your years that you've given to ACS is remarkable. The lives you've impacted through the years will just go on and reverberate through their own lives, through their families' lives, through generations to come. That's how people like you make a difference, literally, for generations to come. So thank you for all that time you've given to our kids. Absolutely. We appreciate you. Thank you.
So our next part, we want to recognize some student groups as well as some employees. And our first student group, I'm going to call Mr. Mark McDonald. And if you would like to share all the accomplishments of your Model UN and some of the things they're going to do the rest of this school year. You can highlight all their numerous awards.
Okay.
It's awesome.
Well, thank you very much. Members of the board, thank you so much. Dr. Clark, thank you so much for the time to be able to come here tonight and share with you both our work and also our success. We do have a presentation to go along with this, and I'm actually not going to walk you through that. We're going to turn this over to some of our students. These three tables here are all members of our high school Model UN team who went to Murfreesboro and participated in the Model UN program. So I'm going to turn it over to Kayla Valencia, who is a member of our International Court of Justice, to introduce us to our slideshow, and then we're going to see just a couple of other students come up and share the work that they did and the great things that they accomplished. So, Kayla, we'll turn it over to you.
Good evening. We are the Arlington High School Government Club. We do 3 conferences every year, and so we just got back from our first conference of the year, Model United Nations. Our second conference will be a Harvard Mock Congress, and then our last conference that we do will be Youth in Government in the spring. And so basically our club is all about student and government positions, and that students can really make a change. And so we are going to present to you our experience at our first conference, Model United Nations. So I'm going to turn it over to some of the General Assembly members.
I think, yeah. All right. Just keep going. Go to the General Assembly slides. Okay. Yeah. All right, I'm going to walk you through about a little bit what the General Assembly does. So General Assembly students team up to represent different UN member nations and create resolutions about international issues. And as countries, we present and debate our resolutions at the conference. So we do a lot of work at the very beginning. We research the chosen country we receive. We write a unique resolution, and we practice presenting and the formal procedures that come with it, and create questions and pro-con speeches for other countries' resolutions. And at the conference, every GA group presents their resolution in a small committee, and the best ranked resolutions move on to present in the red, blue, or white GAs. And delegates in the red, blue, or white GA will vote to pass or fail the resolutions. And this year we had 2 groups that made it to GA, and both were passed. One group had their bill endorsed twice by the Secretary and passed by the Security Council, and that was my group with Aiden and Madeline, who's not here today. Do you want to speak a little bit on that?
This was actually my first year in the government club, as opposed to Mia, who I think has been in it 4 years now. And so she and our lovely sponsor, Mr. McDonald, had to help me and walk me through a lot. And I was really shocked by the process and how successful I was with the group and with our sponsor, because we made it through our committee, we made it through our General Assembly, and we got passed, we got twice endorsed by the Secretariat and the Security Council, which I do have to say the Security Council was very stressful, and I'm very happy that I was well prepared to pass through that. I'm gonna hand it back to Mia.
And we learned a lot, especially I was in it since my sophomore year, and we learned a lot about our communication skills through debating and even collaborating with other nations to help them pass our resolutions and our other team members. And we have to use creativity to find real world issues and provide solutions. So for example, our group, we were Panama, and the issues that we focused on was the Darien Gap. And we wanted to stop the crossings through this treacherous jungle. And one of the ways was following similar programs, such as flights back to countries that would help provide work permits for these migrants. And we also had to understand different solutions and opinions, listening to all these other resolutions. And there's so many people at this conference, so it takes a lot of confidence in presenting, and yeah. And the ability to quickly recover from difficult experiences to keep leading, as we talked about the Security Council. They put us through the ringer. It was like an interrogation for I don't even know, 15 minutes. It was horrifying, and at the end we were in tears getting past, but it was such a great experience. And without this grant, we will not be able to learn these valuable skills to succeed as graduates. Aiden and Madeline probably wouldn't have been able to do this without the grant. And yeah. And that's us at the conference, having a good old time. Yeah. There you go.
Okay. Can you hold them? All right, so for the General Assembly, there are 2 awards that can be won. The first one is Outstanding Delegate, and we had 3 people win Outstanding Delegate, myself, Aiden, and then Cameron, who is not here. So the criteria for winning Outstanding Delegate is you're always in dress code, you're always following the rules, you're always participating in debate, you're always staying in decorum of your own country, you don't have differing opinions from what your country believes in, you're really staying in character, as I always put it. And then the other award that can be won is Outstanding Resolution, which my group won, me, Peyton, and then Cameron, who is not here. That award is basically for how well you wrote your resolution, how helpful it would be to a country, no matter if it got passed or if it didn't get passed or ranked or whatever. So.
And we'll pass this on to our ICJ.
Hey, will you tell us your names first before all of your names ascends?
Oh, I'm Mia.
I'm Olivia.
I'm Aiden.
Awesome. Awesome. And will you tell us your names before you start?
Yes, hi, I'm Caroline Godsey. I have been doing ICJ. Next year will be my 4th year. I got the privilege of serving as a justice in our state conference this year, and I have loved every moment of it. The ICJ was established in 1945 after World War II. The ICJ is the only UN body not located in New York City. It is located in The Hague, making it very isolated from the lovely GA, which at our conference is the same thing. We're our own little world, but it's a world of a lot of case law and a lot of hard work, but it is so much fun and we learn so much.
Hi, I'm Raina Darby. This is my first year ever attending the Model UN conference and my first year in ICJ. This year's case was sovereignty over Pulau Legitimate and Pulau Sipadan, Indonesia versus Malaysia. It was over 2 islands located in the Celebes Sea that are economically important to both countries. So both countries were basically fighting over these two islands, and we had to prove why each country deserved to have sovereignty. So for pre-conference work, we had to write a memorial for each country, and then we had to search for case law, which we have a big thank you for Ms. Speakman because she helped us do that. And then we had to write the brief, and then we had to find counter arguments because in the court, the opposition, the opposing counsel, they will like try to refute your argument. So you have to come up like on the spot with counter arguments. And then we prepared for this by doing a mock trial.
Those are our mock trial pictures with Miss Speakman. She literally saved us. That day, she brought us like a huge folder with like that much paper in it of case law of every maritime case.
She loves her some paper.
She does, and we are so thankful.
Yes.
Yes, we would not have won the awards that we did if it wasn't for Miss Speakman. Like, words cannot even describe.
Yeah.
Yes, oh my gosh. So I got to serve as a justice for the first time. Arlington made up about a third of the ICJ justices at our conference, which I'm pretty proud of because we've never had justices before. I have done it again. This has been my third year, and it has totally changed my life. Whenever I got to high school, I was trying to find my thing, and I truly found it through Model UN. And our club had 12 people my freshman year, and it has like filled my heart beyond words to see it grow to the 30. And I've gotten to work with Kayla Valencia. We started a middle school Model UN club, and we've gotten to share our passion and watch passion grow in our middle schoolers too about world issues, things that middle schoolers should not really be worrying about. You know, they're video games, they're all these things, but to see them passionate about Afghanistan and they need water, and to write a bill about that sort of thing is just so inspiring and so encouraging. I enjoyed being a justice because I love to encourage people. I feel like it's really scary. Like, it's more terrifying than this because we're all in robes and it's scary gavels banging at you all the time, asking you questions, trying to help you build your argument. But I feel like that it was so much fun to get to encourage teams and even watch our own teams from Arlington get more confident every time they presented, because you present twice and Jenna and Jenny presented 3 times, and it was so amazing to see them every time get up more confident, answer questions more surely in themselves and the knowledge that they know that they have. That was my favorite part of getting to be a justice. And next year, I'll get to serve as liaison where I can focus on encouraging people even more, and I'm so excited for the amazing opportunity.
Hi, I'm Kayla Valencia, and this is my second year in the government club. So me and Raina were an advanced team, and basically what this means is that we got the honor of receiving Model Case, which they award to the most advanced teams at the conference. And so Model Case basically meant that I had double the time of everyone else. And so to accommodate for that, we had to write a lot. My case alone was about 16 pages. And so we got 30 minutes to argue that and then to do a rebuttal as well. And then at the end of the conference, obviously, we won Best Advanced Lawyer Team. And so that's just from an advanced standpoint, our conference experience.
Hi, my name is Jenny Dong, and me and my sister Jenna Dong, this is our second year at MUN, but first year doing ICJ. So this is like completely different from G8, which we participated in last year. And ICJ is like a lot more work. We had to write brief, and Indonesia's memorial, which I read, was like 200 pages. And my argument was also around 15 pages. And we received a lot of help from Caroline, Kayla, who've done this in the past, and Ms. Speakman. She helped us so much with case law, and that won us Outstanding Written Argument in ICJ. And that's our experience.
Here are some photos from the conference. We have the photo, the bracelets at the bottom corner. That's bracelets Ms. Speakman had gave us, and I think we're all wearing them tonight, so yeah. And then we have a whole picture of the whole ICJ, all the justices, and we had a lot of fun. We also have some pictures of some friends that we made at the conference.
So me and Raina got final case, and basically what this is, it's awarded to the top 2 advanced teams that are at the conference. These teams are recognized for their outstanding performances throughout the conference, and this year's case was LeGrand, Germany v. United States. Me and Raina stayed up till 6 a.m. writing this, and it was a 30-minute brief, and we then won our case.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
These are proof pictures of us up at 6 a.m. And then that's us at 10 a.m. getting our award.
That's great.
Hi, I'm Jenna Dong. So for the ICJ, there are significantly less awards given than GA. There are 4 awards, which is given to novice team and advanced team, which is outstanding lawyer team and outstanding written argument, to which Kayla Valencia and Raina Darby, the advanced team, won final case and got awarded the outstanding lawyer team. And me and my sister Jenny Dong won outstanding written argument for novice in the ICJ. Furthermore, they also announced next year's officers at the end of the conference, to which Arlington held 2 officer positions in the ICJ. Caroline Gotze will be next year's court liaison, and Sawyer Osleys was elected to be next year's justice.
Wow.
Okay, so most important is what we gained through this conference. And in this conference, we've gained such valuable skills that we will take with us further on in life. Writing and research skills, which we gained through writing briefs and reading memorials and researching case law. Public speaking skills, where we practiced through mock trial and we had to speak in front of the justices in the courtroom. The ability to debate through listening to the opposing counsel's arguments and then being able to think of rebuttals, which really helps our critical thinking skills. And through this, it also raises our global awareness because these cases are dealing with international affairs. Also, after all the arguments were made and rebuttal, the justices go into deliberation and all the team of the ICJ will come together and talk and share their case laws and arguments and just tell each other that they did such a great job, which shows such great teamwork, and we just had to work together to help better our arguments. And this shows how we fit into Arlington Community Schools' portrait of graduate because we are able to communicate efficiently, collaborate, intentionally cultivate creativity, be resilient, and lead with empathy. And lastly, we would like to thank the school board for providing the legacy funds for us to be able to attend this conference. It was such a big help. And we would like to thank Mr. McDonald, our club sponsor, and Ms. Gotze, who came with us and helped prepare us for this conference. And special thanks to Ms. Speakman for helping the ICJ court so much. Thank you.
One last thing. In my years of Model UN, I feel like the thing I've gained the most, it wasn't really on there because it's not really like a solid thing, but if it's true that it's not what you know, it's who you know, Model UN is full of the most amazing individuals that are going to go on to be governors and all sorts of amazing things and are going to passionately make positive change in the world. And I think the greatest thing I've gained is just the people I've met and the friends that you gain, especially in the ICJ. Like, there's true friendships that you keep up with them probably for a very long time.
That's awesome.
Thank you very much.
Say that again. What did you say there, Ms. Barnes?
I think y'all are going to be some of those successful people that
Absolutely.
you're talking about.
Absolutely.
Y'all did a great job. Thank you for representing our community schools well.
Yes.
Yes, we truly appreciate it, and thank you for coming tonight to share this, because we've been talking about you, and we've been talking about how you'll get to go Harvard and have that experience, and we're very glad as school board members in a district that we're able to provide you with that support. And thank you to Mr. McDonald, because I know you've put a lot of time and hard work into this. you are passionate about what you do, and that's what we need is educators that really are passionate about what they're doing and giving our students those experiences. And then Ms. Speakman, we've said it before. I think it was fantastic. Miss Speakman, I know you all made her so happy, and I tell her every day, I say, see, that's why all of us love being educators, because the impact and the influence. So those things you did for her, it really made her feel fantastic, and it made her feel like one of us. So thank you so much for giving her that experience. Next, we want to recognize Ms. Sarah Kelly, the Student Government Association, and I believe Dr. Delviox would like to present some things for Ms. Kelly and give her some accolades there.
Sure. So, I think I have a little bit of time coming up, but so I can just do this now. As outgoing president of the TSBA, and we'll touch on this just briefly, I decided that this year it would be neat, and it's never been done, which I never have figured out, and the past presidents couldn't figure out, but no one took any of their civil servants, right, their government, and showed them how this works at the highest level at the state. And for those of you that don't know, the Tennessee School Board Association is the sort of representative organization for every school board in the state of Tennessee. And in my tenure there, we also created a national school board organization, and within a year, that became the largest national school board organization. So, as president, I had to go to everything, including the evaluation of the executive director. And I thought, wouldn't it be cool if we took our student council president and vice president, and they just came with me everywhere I went. They saw all the things I saw. It was really unprecedented access. They had VIP seating for all of the speakers for the events. We fed them. They didn't even have to go find food. It just was an amazing experience for me personally, and the rest of the board sort of took them under their wing as well and showed them things and taught them things. But literally, they sat in on the evaluation of the executive director of the TSBA, which no one from the outside's ever sat in. And so it was my absolute pleasure to spend time with those two student leaders, and it was super impressed what they did and the insight they had. Delegate assembly was a little spicy, as it always is, and that was Mr. Dunn actually presented to that and did an amazing job. And so as part of that, just for your personal sacrifice, I just have a little thank you from me. This is a gift inside, and really just want to say thank you for everything that you do to really establish the next student leaders, because people aren't doing civil service anymore. It's just not that popular. And so those ones that have a passion for it, you guys are amazing. Please keep doing that. Please. It's the most valuable thing you can bring to all of us collectively. So just a little thank you for you.
Vice President. Our current president is Noah Sershin, which most of you are very familiar with, and he is, fortunately, he's live streaming the basketball games tonight.
Nice.
So I did ask Abby to speak for just a moment about what this weekend meant to her. And oddly enough, they're presenting. She is a part of them as well. She's in the third group, because in the fall I kind of have her a little busy with student council. But this group is amazing, and what's funny is how many of them are crossovers that I've taught that are in student council. The kids here at Arlington are okay, and it shows right here. So I'm gonna let Abby speak to that for a moment, because that's what's important.
Yeah.
Hi, my name is Abigail Cronau, and I am really grateful for the experience that I was able to get out of going to the TSBA conference. I was able to kind of really see the inner workings of what a school board does, because prior to that, I didn't really have the conception of like what they did or if much at all. Just like, I've always seen them as like these looming presences. So it was really interesting getting to see all of the work that goes into building such like a strong district and presence in a community. And being able to like apply what I got to see in different aspects, like being able to take that back into legislature like these kids are doing, getting to kind of apply that into like a school perspective as well. And it's kind of made me think about how I want to focus the rest of my life in a way. So it's a really positive experience, and I'm really grateful for what I got to do. Thank you.
Another teacher that we like to recognize tonight that has been very supportive in helping us coordinate some things that we can give back to the community at our presentations. We call them swag. I know that Tyler has another term that he likes to use. But what I think is important is when we present and highlight our school district and what our students are doing, she teaches, Miss Casey Sandlin Rogers, she teaches STEM 2. And so what she's done is she's helped lead the process in her STEM classes that when we go and we present, people get to walk away with something that represents the state of Tennessee or Arlington High School, like an ornament or something little takeaway that our students made in that program. So we want to recognize her, and I know Dr. Delviox would like to recognize her because your students with your leadership made several items that Dr. Viox took to TSBA. So if you'll come up here and be recognized.
So I also had this crazy idea. Normally people just buy you like a candle or some memento or something. As the TSBA president, you award your board because there are transient members that do like 1 year, like as an at-large member, but they're with you for the bulk of the year. They travel with you. They do national events and things like that. So you get to know them really well. And I didn't want to just buy a candle and give them in a nice little gift bag. So had this crazy idea. I talked to Mr. Goforth, and I actually spoke with Sarah Kelly because she's very creative, as you all know. And without question, every one of them never hesitated. They say, Casey Sandlin Rogers, who you need to talk to. I mean, there was no hesitation. And so I had this overall concept because with TSBA, I have my theme for the year. And for me, it was very personal. It was I am because of public education. And so just with very few details, she came up with, and I have the student's name here, Macy Smith and Daniel Schulte, created this final product. They were able to manufacture this and provide these with me, and I was able to give them to the board and this board as well. I shared with them. It just was an amazing thing that represented Arlington and my vision of I am because of public education, and the board at the state level was just blown away. And the executive director even said, hey, did you bring me one of those? Like she actually, and she's probably got stuff all over the house, but she literally asked. And of course I did take her one, but thank you so much for just that effort that you put into it. And for providing that for people that can go forth and say, yeah, the Arlington kids made this. It's just amazing. So also a little personal thing for me.
Have the Make-A-Wish Foundation is here tonight, and I'm going to turn it over to Miss Kelly because she led that project with Abby, and you can speak about it.
So very briefly, those of you who know, last year we made it a thing in the spring where we wanted to raise $8,000, and $2,000 of it coming from each of the 4 schools. And so in the spring, we did hit our goal. We hit our $8,000 goal, and this fall, we all saw the video on Facebook, and we all cried 1,000 tears as we granted the wish, and we made John Paul's moment happen where he got to go to Disney. So student council said, this has to be a yearly thing now, and it's now the vice president's job. And so Abby had to then turn around and figure out how we were going to fundraise again. We reached out to all the principals and the PTSA members, and so if they will come forward as well, if y'all will come right over here. Come stand right over here. And we have Lydia Noble, who's here from Make-A-Wish as the representative. So bring up the PTSA. And we went at it again this year the same way. And we said we would love to raise $2,000 a school. And we came at it with some new ideas, which I have to give a shout out to Mr. Davis for supporting our new crazy ideas. Why aren't you up here? Because you're our principal. If I have to be here, you have to be here. No, Ms. Hawkins, get up here. Oh my gosh, okay. Trying to hide people. So we set that goal. Abby set herself a little bit more of a goal. She said, I want to do more. And the other schools said, we know we can do this, we're going to do it. And the PTSAs backed them. And so we have to present to Make-A-Wish to Lydia. We were able to, as a district, raise $11,739.80. So we doubled our goal that we originally intended at the high school. All the other schools came together, so I've already been speaking with Lydia about doing something in the spring where it's in the afternoon, evening, maybe trying to get compared with someone where we can make it a huge community thing where everybody can come together to grant this wish, and it's not just at the high school. That was our first starting step. We appreciated that. And we know whatever video comes out of it, Tyler will make it amazing. So is there anything you would like to say?
So our mission is that together we grant wishes, life-changing wishes for children with critical illnesses. And I think back to what you said earlier about community service and community giving and community involvement. And this is what I do. I love to see community engagement in students and in students of this age because they continue to grow up to be adults who are that giving and that caring and that giving as adults. And so we see this longevity, especially at Make-A-Wish, we see this longevity of they start as kids in the Kids for Wish Kids program, and then they become volunteers as adults, and it continues for life. And so I'm just really appreciative of this connection that we've made in the last year. It has been incredible, and it all started because your last two really just wanted to get involved out of nowhere. Yeah, just out of nowhere, they came to me. So thank you.
Do we want to do a group? Everybody stay put. We have to do a group photo.
Just come on. Come on.
They can still see me.
No, they can't. No, they don't. They can't see. You're good.
I'm right in Tyler's eye.
We're clear. We are clear.
Very cool.
So thank you. That concludes our presentation tonight on that segment, and I'll turn it back over to Mr. Benjamin.
Thank you, Dr. Clark. Wow, that's excellent. Thank you so much for showing up tonight. Thanks for sharing that with us. We don't get to hear a lot very often about some of the good things that are going on, and so I've asked Dr. Clark as we go from meeting to let us hear more about these things that are happening. And this is just another example of the excellence that happens in our schools. And so thank you to teachers and administrators who support our students and are willing to support them as well. We love to do it as a board. We love being able to provide things like the Legacy Grant, but you guys put it into place, you guys put it into play, and you guys put it really where it actually happens. And so we're very, very thankful for that. So thank you. Thank you again for being here. I'm going to give you the option now to leave if you want to. You can dance if you want to. Oh, sorry. You can leave if you want to. But you're welcome to stay, too. So don't feel like you've got to rush out. But we're going to move on into the business of the board. Oh, it is exams. Go study, Go study, kids.
I will say, Mr. Chairman, as they leave, I'm not sure what this legacy grant, this particular one cost, but it was worth every penny.
Well worth it.
It was very, very impressive.
Yes, agreed.
Brought home the gold.
Chris Godsey, just FYI, Chris Godsey is right here. This is Natalie Godsey's husband. This is Caroline's dad. He is here, which is miraculous. Just miraculous that he's alive. He just had open heart surgery. They stopped his heart twice, twice, and to do some really serious surgery. He was deep in the weeds for a long time. And so it has done my heart very good to see you here
Yes,
tonight.
amen.
And
Yeah.
a lot of people prayed for you. We're thankful to see you here tonight.
Yes.
Yes, 100%. All right, we will move to citizens' comments. Ms. Gore, any citizen comments? All right. We'll move to the approval of the agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
Second.
A motion by Ms. Conley, a second by Dr. Viox. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it, the motion passes. I'll move to reports, chairman's report. Just a couple of things that I want to say. We just spoke about the legacy grant, and I'm so thankful that through the years, ACS has managed its money well throughout the years to be able to put us in a financial position to offer the legacy grant in the last year and then this year, and something we hope to certainly continue. I know the board is in favor of that, and so again, hearing things like this is a wonderful thing. It is helpful to students, it's helpful to parents, it's helpful to just a whole a wide range of people, and so I hope that's something that this board will continue to support and get behind in the years to come as long as we possibly can. And then lastly, the only time that I will spend some time is as we've come through, this is our last meeting for this calendar year. But man, a lot's happened in this fall. We entered into it in a very difficult spot. And so it's just a lot of upheaval and a lot of sadness and a lot of what happens next and how do we walk through this. And so I just want to say a few thank yous to a lot of people. One, I'll start with this board. Thank you for your steadfastness through this, through your willingness to step in and be handle a very difficult situation with kindness and with compassion and with leadership. And so very thankful for all that you all did to that. So thank you for that. I'm thankful for the central office staff. You all had to step into a place where there was a void in leadership, and that you took that by, you kept doing your jobs like you do. And that's the beautiful thing about who you are and what you do, is that you are the consummate professionals at what you do. There's no doubt about it. I've watched you enough. I've been around you enough. Spent a lot of time during the beginning of this school year with all of you, and I never cease to be amazed at the way in which you do your jobs. The professionalism, the way that you don't let any I's not get dotted or no T's not get crossed. You do all those things, and very thankful for you, especially during that time. But honestly, you just kept on going. You soldiered on, and you kept going, and I'm very, very thankful for you as well. Our principals at each school, same kind of thing, that you had to keep leading your school and leading your staff and leading your entire school system in the middle of just, again, unprecedented times. And so thank you for being who you are and taking those leads in your schools so that our students and our parents didn't miss a beat with what you were doing. And so I'm very thankful for you. And then Dr. Clark, you had to step into a role that was in the middle of just a lot of, just the situation we were in. You worked with Mr. Mayo for a long time, and to step into a very emotion-filled, lots of emotions filled time. You have stepped in and run with it from day one. You have led with integrity. You have led with compassion. You have led with a listening ear, and I'm very thankful for that and for you doing that. So thank you for doing that. All of you are tops at what you do, and very thankful for you. And that concludes my report. Do you need some time still? Yeah. I'm going to give some time to Dr. Viox. He wanted a few more things about TSBA.
Yeah, so we touched on a lot of it earlier, and again, a special shout out to Sarah Kelly, Noah Sershin, Abigail Cronauer. They were with me every step of a very busy. Most of our stuff started at 7 a.m. We had some coffee most days, and they were troopers. They went to everything. They paid attention. Noah did a presentation on it, and just fantastic kids. Thank you for being there and going through that. The board was super helpful, but as I wind up my tenure as TSBA president, one of the perks is for leadership convention, you get to pick the talent. And so it was all Arlington, baby. It was, we were well represented. Both of our student council, they were introduced at every meeting. They got to meet some of the keynote speakers. It's a good time for them. ROTC, under the direction of Mr. John Block, did the colors. It was very impressive. National anthem was Ava Kessel. She just blew them away. It was just amazing. And then our performance that night in opening ceremony was A Major, under the direction of Jeffrey Chipman. I won't go through all the names, but it's an a cappella group, and as someone that can't sing, it's even more impressive that you can do that just a cappella. They just blew us away. So I owe a lot of thanks. The TSBA presidency is basically a 6-year journey. You have to serve on that board, and then you have to get elected to the higher positions of office. So you do treasurer, vice president, president-elect, president, and then immediate past president. So if you add all those years together with a 4-year term, the math doesn't work. So first of all, thanks to anybody in Arlington that was kind enough to vote and allow me to see this through. And I'm going to try not to get emotional, but this board has been amazing. I've been here since day one, and we've never had a board that is so student focused, and there's no drama, there's nothing. And as I traveled with TSBA across even Tennessee and across the U.S., and this is a very special board of education, and thank you to each of you for allowing me to do this. And anyway, it was good. It was full attendance. They were engaged. They went to everything. They did everything. So thank you. To piggyback on Scott's thing, you guys have just been amazing, and allowing me to do this has been special. Superintendent, her first one. Did you? I don't know. She was everywhere. She was like just everywhere. We had some good social events, but she was also engaged with students and learning and doing all the things, and it was very, very nice to have you there. So thank you for that. Last but not least, on the opening day of the leadership convention, we had almost 800 school board members there. Mr. Tyler Hill did an amazing presentation. He closed out leadership, which is sort of a coveted position to have that, because it's difficult to keep board members engaged. At this point, they've been there for 8 hours, and it's the very last thing, the last presentation right before dinner. Most people have dinner plans, and if you drive in Nashville, it's horrible. He was gracious enough to let me stand on stage and interject just a very few comments, but it was his presentation. He did an amazing job, and I got so much positive feedback after that. So thank you, sir. Well done. Appreciate that. That's all I have. Kind of a lame duck president now. I go off on January 1st, and then I become the immediate past president. So I'll get to still travel this next year and hopefully mentor the next group of leaders. So thank you for the time, sir.
Absolutely.
Appreciate you, board, really.
Yeah, appreciate your time there, man. You put a lot of years in, a lot of time there, and helped shape TSBA, help move into COSBA, and form that thing. So thank you for all that time that you put in there.
My pleasure.
Thankful for you. You brought a lot of good attention to Arlington through the years, for sure. Yeah, they did, for sure. For sure. All right, that wraps up my chairman's report. Superintendent.
Thank you. I know you've heard it, but I feel like I need to express it to you, because the executive staff, that's my first go-to to support me here at district office. And all of you have been amazing. There's not a doubt in my mind when I come to you, we may not know the answers right away, but together we'll collaborate that. And in the end, our goal is to support the schools, the principals, the teachers, and the students. Principals have been amazing, and I appreciate that. It's wonderful to get to see our students shine. I know we highlighted the high school tonight. Wait, we'll be highlighting the other schools as well, because we have amazing students from pre-K all the way to high school. Thank you to PTSA, because I know from my personal experience as principal, we can't do what we do in these schools without you and the team that you bring to the table of other parents. We're very, very fortunate in this district to have so much support of our community and our parents, and we're truly blessed to have that. And I do appreciate that, because I know how much it means in a school and the kind of impact. And you may not realize it at that moment, but stepping back and you see that, it makes a tremendous difference, and I do appreciate that. Before I go into a couple of the executive staff members have a report tonight, I want to thank Ms. Kottner. She's our elementary supervisor. She's making sure all of our district office holiday activities are very creative and engaging. And so Friday, December the 12th, we'll have our luncheon at 12 p.m. and all of you are invited. And you know, Ms. Kottner has a few games and things, so it will be fun times as always, like she did yesterday morning. Last week, I held the Superintendent Leadership Roundtable, and that's a team of ACS employees. The principals selected a classified and a certified staff, and at the high school, we have also another certified staff that's CTE. So that is comprised of 9 employees there, and we met last week, and one of their tasks is to develop the 26-27 instructional calendar. So they're developing that. They're going to bring that to the table on January 23rd is our next meeting that we will have a superintendent leadership roundtable. Mr. Hill has led that in how that instructional calendar comes about and some of the nuances that we have to consider. And so after that, we will have feedback surveys that will go out to our parents and our employees to getting their feedback on the calendar. And then we anticipate in February that I'll be bringing that to the board for approval for that 26-27 instructional calendar. Also, what I did is prior to the meeting is I sent out a feedback survey to the members of the Superintendent Leadership Roundtable and asked for them to collect some of that information from their colleagues as well to get feedback. I feel like that's very important that we hear the feedback, listen to what it says. Doesn't mean we're going to change or resolve it, but another way is an opportunity to share what our portrait of an AC graduate is and how all that fits together, and if there's things we consider, because it's important to get that ongoing feedback. Some of them were pertaining to school specific, and I'm sharing that with the principals as we go along, and then some of it I shared with them what we'll talk about at future superintendent leadership roundtable, because I truly want to hear more than the survey, and that's been very helpful. Looking ahead, we have, as part of our Portrait of a Graduate, we have the AHS Alumni Panel, and I've given you some of those dates on that sheet, but on January the 8th at 12:30, we'll have that at Arlington High School. So that's probably something you may want to attend if you can, because it's really interesting to hear that our students have left, and it's really about how have we met those post-secondary goals, because that's real important to me that we continually look at our programs and we make sure that we're meeting the needs of our students. Science Textbook Preview Day, I know we've mentioned that, and I have that on that list on January the 23rd at 2025. We will have that at all schools where parents and you are welcome to come in and preview those science textbooks. When we return from winter break, Ms. Lisa Walker, HR Executive Director, will distribute the employee intent survey. It's that time that we're going to have to see if we have any more retirees and planning for our staffing needs for next year. We'll with that information helps us with our annual teacher job fair, and that will be on Tuesday, February the 18th, and I'll remind you of this, and it's from 4:30 to 7:30, so if you want a good dinner, we'll be serving that at 4:30. We always love to have you. I think, as Dr. Viock said, I appreciate you all have been so supportive, and I feel like I can collaborate and reach out to all of you individually, and together we're always supporting the students. that's important. That's what makes Arlington unique. One of the many things that makes them unique. And so when we have these people coming and wanting to work for Arlington Community Schools and they see our board members and y'all do a great job engaging, they see that we're together, we're a family, and they walk away wanting to be a part of that. So I appreciate all of you, if you're available that night, attending. Something else I just want to share in exciting news. We've been working on that, I've mentioned, and thank you to Mr. Goforth and Ms. Kim Douglas, our secondary supervisor. We met with IKEA a couple months ago. We'll soon launch a partnership with IKEA, and that's to advance our student career exploration opportunities. And they'll participate in workshops hosted by AHS and IKEA. They'll come in during stripes and then explore various career paths, and we'll receive feedback from those IKEA representatives and projects. So some things they'll bring to us, and some things our students can go there and engage in, like setting up the displays and everything that goes behind that, because we see the nice displays, but there's a lot that goes into that. And IKEA is doing like a re-grand opening, and they're what I understand through Miss Douglas, Kim Douglas, they're reformatting the whole store, so they're gonna have a grand opening in January, and we're going to have our band there, so they wanted our band and our cheerleaders. I guess they saw Kroger and they wanted to sing. What can I say? The kids are great. So I want to thank you again for your commitment to our district and our students. It does mean a lot, and I look forward to closing out a strong year next year and continuing the important work we have. So that's my report. I believe Miss Lisa Walker has something to share tonight.
I just wanted to update you about staffing and some HR things. Currently, all of our certified positions are filled, which is great news. And the other great news is we've added 2 completely new positions. One will be at Arlington Elementary School. Due to an increase in special ed students, we're adding a special ed pre-K assistant, so that's exciting. And the other exciting news is we're adding a school security officer for the district that will be shared among our schools. So we're excited about that. Attendance rate update, we are currently at 95% employee attendance rate, and our substitute fill rate is at 89%. I did find a discrepancy in our system, and hopefully that fixes the problem. It wasn't calling subs out more than once, and so I fixed it, hopefully. I saw that today was good news. And then tomorrow I'm going to send each of you an email talking about tenure. I have a list of employees who I would like to recommend for tenure based on our LOE scores, and then you'll approve hopefully at the January meeting, and then February we will celebrate and honor them. That's it.
Thank you.
And then Mr. Tyler Hill.
Good evening. So after the student reports, I don't know how much this legacy report, how much weight it's going to carry, because hearing from them is different from just hearing a bunch of numbers that I give you every month. But I just love hearing from the students because, from the district perspective, we get these requests in, we review them and say, yeah, it sounds worthy, but to hear the experience that they had on the ground is very impactful. So it's beneficial for me to hear that, and I'm sure for you as well. So I wanted to give just a quick legacy report about approvals we've had since we last met at the last board meeting. So the AHS Student Council, they requested expenses to be paid for their state student council conference. Student Council, one of the largest organizations on campus at the high school. So we're hitting a lot of different students, a lot of different interests. We've helped pay an offset for their national conference, and so now this is the state conference, making sure that they are being represented here in Tennessee as well as that national conference that they've already attended. The AHS Sports Broadcast Journalism program, they requested some funds to go shadow the Memphis Redbirds media team. That's going to be taking place next semester. So a really cool connection for that sports broadcast class to see here's what the media team actually does in real life for a sport like the Redbirds. so they'll be able to go shadow them there. Casey Sandlin Rogers, I believe she stepped out. She is one of the sponsors and coaches for the Cornhole Club. We do have one, and they are good. They do compete. In fact, I've heard that a couple of our students who competed at a competition in Little Rock, it's now like sponsored. They're sponsored by like businesses or people associated with cornhole. So they qualified for a tournament in South Carolina. So this is going to help offset some of those costs and help them build their cornhole skills. So yeah, it's pretty cool there. And that's going to be taking place in the spring as well. Princesses for Patients, not sure if you know about that club. It's at the high school. It's associated with Emily Land. She is a cancer survivor, former St. Jude patient. She created Princesses for Patients many years ago to basically give back to the organization that saved her life. St. Jude has kind of changed the way they allow guests inside their building since COVID. They used to go to the hospital or to the Target house where some of the patients stay during their treatment, and they would dress up as princesses and princes and superheroes and just help them get their minds off of what's going on in their personal life. Since then, they've had to change a little bit, but they still continue to raise funds throughout the year. They host different events. They go to different organizations that request them, and that's a way for them to raise money for St. Jude throughout the year. So these funds from the Legacy Grant is helping them with their just various costs from transportation, costumes, because the point of that club is to raise money all for St. Jude. So everything they raise, they give back to them. So this will help them there with that mission. AHS Baseball, they want 2 radar guns. So we approved that. We just said the caveat to that is nothing but 100-mile-per-hour fastballs.
That's right.
That's right. If you drop in the 90s, we get that back. He said, "Yeah, we'll try." DECA, AHS DECA, we're going to help offset some of their costs for their state conference, like we did with Student Council. AHS Track, we're renovating their discus shot put area, actually through the softball project that you guys have already approved. We think that we're going to be able to have funds there to help pay for the renovation of that area, so that's coming out of the capital budget. But because this area is going to be renovated, we're helping them out with the actual equipment in this area. So capital's taking care of the construction part. Legacy is going to help cover some of the costs for that equipment for that area. AHS Choir, allowing some students to participate in the U of M Honor Choir. That's basically paying for some registration fees, maybe some transportation costs, so that's no cost for them. And then the AHS PAVE Academy on the visual arts side, we're going to be sending them to a hands-on workshop that helps them with a specific technique in art that they can't quite get in class, but here locally they are able to learn that method through an organization here in Memphis. So that's going to help pay for the registration fees there. So you see it's a balance between clubs and organizations, sports, but also some classroom initiatives as well. So to date, we have awarded $305,000. So we have a remaining $195,000 roughly for this next semester, which is pretty good because we typically cut off Legacy in April. That way, if they're ordering equipment, it's all in before the school year closes out. So that's a good amount to carry us through the spring semester.
Awesome.
Any questions?
Sure.
All right, thank you.
That's a wide range. Yeah. I love that.
So that concludes my report for the night.
Thank you, Dr. Clark. Let's see where we are. We will move ahead to legislative liaison. Mr. Dunn.
So would you like for me to wait until the end and share the comments about the agenda?
Oh, we can do that? You want to do that?
I can.
All right, we'll wait until the end. We'll wait until the end.
I'll try to get us out of here right.
Okay. All right. We'll move then on to consent agenda. Do I have a motion to approve consent agenda?
Motion to approve, Mr. Chair.
Motion by Dr. Viock, second by Ms. Conley. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. The motion passes. We'll move ahead to business recommended action items. Dr. Clark.
Yes, I'm asking the board to approve budget planning preparation calendar for the fiscal year 2026.
All right, you've heard the superintendent's recommendation to approve. Do you have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second.
A motion by Dr. Biox, second by Mr. Dunn. Any discussion? Dr. Clark, you want to tell us a little bit about that?
The budget plan preparation calendar, that was part of your notes, and what we've done is the timeline that we've always had in the past. We are doing the same timeline, but adjusted for the dates. There'll be packets given out in January to the different departments and principals to give their wish list and needs as well. We'll meet with them and I will go over those items, and then the proposed budget provided to board members. Also, I'll be meeting with each of you like we've done in the past, listening to some of your areas that you are wanting us to look at and consider. And so that we hear those and we work through that process as well. And Mrs. Sappinsley will be there, and I'm sure Mr. Ruff will be at some of those as capital improvement projects as always. And then, just as we have traditionally done in the past in the process of approving the budget, we'll do the same, and the timeline will be essentially the same, but just adjusting on the dates.
Okay. Have you sent those dates out to us? Do we have those already? Are they in that proposal?
They're in that
Oh, yeah, that's right.
packet
That's right.
with the timeline
Yeah.
and the dates.
Okay.
Now, we can send you calendar invites if that
That's
would
okay.
help.
That's
It helps me.
Yes. All right, any questions for Dr. Clark? All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it, the motion carries. We'll move to approval of the 2025 legislative agenda. Dr. Clark, you want to do this, or do we give this to Mr. Dunn?
Well, I can say I'm
you
requesting
can make
that
the
you
motion.
approve
Yeah.
the 2025
There
legislative agenda. And then,
All right, you've heard the recommendation by Dr. Clark. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Dr. Biox, second by Ms. Conley. Any discussion? Mr. Dunn?
Yeah, so first of all, I have a few things to share with you. Each of you received printed copies, as well as it was in the online information that was sent to you for tonight. And before I jump into this, I'm going to give you some context as to how we arrived where we did in this agenda that we're really honestly excited about. And Ms. Speakman's been giving a lot of shout outs tonight, and she doesn't really like that attention. But I will tell you, the truth of the matter is, in working with her these past now year and a half, 2 years, on anything for our teachers and our students, she wants to always do what's best for the kids as well as for the teachers. And so she helped me a lot with this, of course. And this is something we had a lot of good discussion around. So I'm going to read some of this because it's just to give you some context and then help you by speaking to these these things. So in the past, what we discussed is that as in a district, oftentimes putting together our legislative agenda, it could have been characterized somewhat as being somewhat defensive in posture, rather than speaking for what we're for. We've more so taken the approach of what we're against, given some of the things that we deal with. And so this year, there was more of an inspiration to focus on what we're for. Yes, there are challenges for all school districts and things we don't necessarily care for, but there's a lot to celebrate. So that's what we wanted to focus on in this agenda. And so I know that all of you will agree that the main focus should be the students and the families that are represented, as well as the teachers and those that work in our school district. And so that's really the makeup of this agenda. So I'm going to speak to each of the subjects really in the focus areas. The first one is teacher pay. As you will notice that this is something that will probably never go away. I hope it does one day. But something that's important is that the National Education Association has reported that Tennessee is ranked 44th in the nation in pay for our teachers. And I think you would all agree with me that as a resident of this state, we can't just sit here and say that's okay and just nod our head. To be ranked 44th in anything that should be a positive thing is not a good thing. And so, especially when we're talking about educators that are helping us raise the next generation and investing in them, this is something that we're going to continue to speak out to. Because of this current reality, it is creating a problem in retaining teachers. So we have teachers that are having to opt out and go into another career, especially with all the inflation and things that have affected all of us. But for our teachers that are in these fixed, lower than what they should be pay range. And also, it's making it very difficult for us to go and get new teachers or to attract new teachers in our recruiting efforts. So we're thankful the General Assembly this year, they did make some strides in increasing their pay, but we feel like, hey, we're still 44th. we need to move the needle quite a bit more. So here's the things that we presented here. First of all, we believe that the General Assembly needs to know that we as a district support fully the additional state pay increases for our teachers. And then also, we support measures that would address critical teacher shortages in our state, whereas we would like for them to fund scholarships and/or tuition reimbursement for college graduates who agree to teach in public schools for a minimum of 4 consecutive years. Now, on to families. I'll speak somewhat quickly on the family subject. There's a lot of different things that we want as far as programs for our students, for the families that we reach. But a few that we highlighted here that we think are low-hanging fruit that should be very helpful and affordable would be for the state to reimburse each LEA for providing complimentary breakfast and lunch to the students, as well as state funding for our special education preschool programs. We've spoken to that. As you said, Dr. Viox, I presented on this back in Nashville. This was one everyone was in favor of, and to the tune of $1.2 million for our district is how it would affect us. So we need for them to step up and do the right thing by our children. Now, the last thing I want to speak to, and this is one that is a little more, tense, and it's the voucher situation. And this is something Governor Lee has been very adamant about. And so I want to just share a few thoughts there because we oppose the voucher program. And so we just want this to be clear and on the record that for both our public school employees and families, that we, once again, want to appeal to the General Assembly to oppose these voucher programs. The reason why that it's so important for us to speak to this and to do so consistently is because if this goes through, as it is currently, it will deprive public schools of funding, very important funding. And therefore, it would affect some of us in districts, some more than others, but the programs and the education we provide, and it affects all the communities. And so it would be detrimental. Now, instead of redirecting these dollars outside of these public schools, what we believe they should do, that would be a wise decision, would be for them to invest them in some of the things we just mentioned. One, increase the pay of our teachers. Two, the scholarships or reimbursements for prospective teachers. Invest the dollars for free breakfast and lunch for our students. And then definitely take care of our children in those special education programs. It's a wiser way to invest money than to just divert it away. Now, besides that, okay, so there's the financial impact. I want to speak, though, that there's another issue I have with this, and it's really the messaging that's being used to garner support for this program in our state. The messaging that's being used, as I've seen it and understand it, it suggests that superior academic and superior programs are offered in private schools rather than public schools. Mm-hmm. This is the messaging. And I don't know if it's intentional. I don't know these people's hearts, but what I do know is that as someone that went through public school my entire life, my wife did, and all 5 of my children, that I do believe that they're setting up a straw man, and their messaging and about public education, it's not accurate or it's not helpful. So I personally, and I think you all would agree with this, I'm all for those that choose to send their children to private school. I'm all for it. There's some great private schools in the 901. I have good friends that do this. However, what needs to be highlighted is the truth about public education in our programs. Tonight we witnessed, as we recognized some of our students from this Model United Nations competition, these students placed higher than some of their private school peers. Our wrestling team continues to win accolades for its superior rankings, even against some of our private school competition. Our art students, band, choral students continue to win accolades for their superior performances in private school competitions. And the same can be said for the Beta Club, dance, pom teams, baseball, softball, and our currently undefeated boys basketball team. So with this legislative agenda, rather than us just opposing legislation that harms, what we want is the message from us as a board is that to all the parents and to everyone that's involved across the state to know that we're passionate in our support for public education. And honestly, we believe that there's no reason that public education cannot continue to grow in our impact in shaping the next generation so long as we keep receiving the support we need. And so that's what we're asking for. So that's, I know, a lengthy, kind of like a mini sermon, Scott, would you say?
I would say so. Yeah,
I speak kind of fast, but
you got a lot of that.
But I think that that's what's behind this, and I'm hopeful that helps explain the heart of it.
Yeah. That's good. That's very helpful. I really appreciate that summarization of that. That's helpful. Thoughts? Yep. Anything? Any questions for Mr. Dunn?
Both Mr. Dunn, and again, I cannot stress enough how impressive he was presenting at delegate assembly. It was First time was that the first delegate assembly you'd ever been to?
No,
Second.
third.
Third,
but
okay.
It was my first to speak at, yeah.
Yeah, and and he stood up there and he counterpointed. It was amazing to watch. So well done, and this is fantastic. I like where your head is, and your heart is at, and turning this on. Hey, not adversarial. This is just what we support. That's amazing. Well done.
Thank you.
And thank you, Mr. Speakman.
I just think that, for other areas in Tennessee, to see what we experienced tonight and continue to experience it throughout our years on the board with Arlington Community Schools, you know, we need to help other districts put their best foot forward and, you know, get these monies where they need to be to help our students and to, you know, all across the state of Tennessee.
Yeah.
And I think the educators that we have here in this district are just awesome.
Yeah.
And I know that other districts have awesome educators too. They don't have the funds to do some of the things that we've been able to do because of the way we've managed our money.
And this will just be further eroding of those funds.
Yes, yes.
For sure, yeah. All right, any other discussion?
All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it, and the motion passes. And we are dismissed.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.